What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. It's been a minute, right? Right. Coming off of DreamCon and whatnot. So, it is time. It is that fucking time. Blood Hunt number 5. Oh my god. I knew this was going to be good. I just didn't know how good it was going to be. So, we start where we kind of left off in the Doctor Strange comic and everything, where Doctor Strange and Clea go see Doctor Doom to try to figure out how to make the sun shine again, right? And he actually has all of the Strange Academy students there to help him with the spell that he's going to perform. Now, his whole entire thing with this is the only way that he's going to be able to do this is if he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. And Clea's like, fuck no. Clea was highly against this because she's not dumb and she knows what Dr. Doom is capable of, as is Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange is so desperate to get this finished and over with that he says that he is willing to do that, but Doom has to give him his word that he is going to give the power of being the Sorcerer Supreme right back. Steven, I know that you know better. I know you do. But it continues on into the fight that his has culminated to, right? So everybody is fighting, and it's not dumbest, I think it's Unusual. Yeah. Has this force field around Wanda to keep her unconscious and from using her power. Not changing Wanda, I feel like it was a really huge error, but that's just me. And when the Avengers attack, Vision attacks Unusual and breaks that spell that he has over Wanda. And Wanda's like, finally. Finally. The Rock has come back. Like, that's literally, like, she was ready to fight. As soon as it was up, she stood up and she said, oof, I can take my revenge, because she was talking mad shit. And she said that Blade, at the end of all of this, it was going to be bad for him. And she was about to stand on business, period. So she's up, ready to fight, and they're all going at it. Sam saves T'Challa from Dracula 1. Is that his name? I can't remember what his name is. Bloodstorm 1. And, he's like, we missed you, T'Challa. T'Challa's like, Sam, thank you. 1, for saving me, and 2, your speech. It touched me. Like, he was very, very happy to be back with his friends. And now that Thor is up, Thor is like, Varney, what's up, bro? It's been a while. And Varney very much does not like this man. And from the couple of times that they have been up against each other in comics, Varney is definitely one of those people that Thor has gone up against a couple of times. And each time, Thor has whooped his ass. Varney hates this man and makes it a point of telling him so. But he's like, let's do this, God to God. He's like, your hammer is not going to get here in time because I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? But they get into their fight. And Iron Man's like, hey, cast the Montesi formula to Wanda. And she was like, no. Because, and that was the thing that was one of the reasons why Clea was hesitant to do the Montesi formula, but was still able to, was still willing to help Strange get it together. And they kind of wanted to see if they could alter it, because they don't want to kill everybody. Although Steven made the point of saying, if I have to cut off the leg to save the body, I will, because that Montesi formula, as Wanda says, does not discriminate. It does not detect if you have evil in your heart, if you're an evil vampire, if you're not. So anybody who was a vampire would have died, including Brielle. And she even said, she's like, I'm not about to kill an entire people. I'm not going to do that again. Shout out to the House of M reference. Well, decimation. Anyway, so she's not casting that formula. And of course they call her, they call the Avengers weak. And I think Bloodstorm 1 tears off Vision's arm. Vision doesn't really have a lot of sunlight. They even ask Carol if she's able to blast through the clouds again like she did earlier, but she says she can't. They have gone thicker, and they're really like in the middle of all of this where the source of the power is, so she really can't blast through it from where she is. They're kind of losing. And back over here, Doctor Strange is like, they have engaged Varney and his creatures, and like, we need to strike, so I need you to figure out, are you going to make me Sorcerer Supreme or not? And Clea's like, no. And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, I guess I have his word, so, you know, I have his word, so his word is, like, I have his word, so, you know, we're just gonna go do it because I have his word, as if his word means literally anything. So he goes ahead and gives him the power of the Sorcerer Supreme, and he's just like, I've always wondered how you do that. Good to know. And he even asks, Strange is like, was this, you know, your entire plan, all of your design, coming up with this whole entire situation with Varney having access to Atlantean magic and things like that? These things, this spell that occurred that was able to complete the darkness and use the Dark Force users and all kinds of stuff. Was this your whole entire plan? And Dr. Doom just skates over it as if he didn't just ask him a bunch of questions. It is quite suspicious indeed. Quite suspicious indeed, skating over that as if he didn't just ask you a question. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? Anyway, so they're still fighting, and Thor is kind of losing. And Varney's like, you know, of all of the Avengers, I actually hate you the most. I hate you so much. And he's just like on and on about how much he hates Thor and can't wait to kill him. And then Thor gets his hammer, lightning strikes, and he's like, fuck. So they continue their fight, and Vision is saying that he doesn't have a lot of solar energy left and that they really need to focus. He's got like maybe one blast in him right now, and he's like, but you know, I can't do this alone. And Moon Knight is just like, oh, you won't be alone, I'm here now, and I brought friends. And here comes that undead army taking on the creatures and whatnot, and they go after Bloodstorm 1, but he doesn't have enough solar energy to kill Bloodstorm 1, so they actually end up getting tangled up with Cruel and still fighting Bloodstorm 1 as well. And finally, after getting the Sorcerer Supreme magic from Doctor Strange, he goes to where all of the kids are so that he can set up in motion what he's going to do next. Now, Miles Morales shows up to where Dracula and Brielle are, and he's like, you know, are you going to kill your dad? And she was like, you know, I have to. And Varney even says, like, I only have one weakness, and it's the girl, and she's not here. And she goes, actually, I am here. And she stabs him with her sword. However, it's not enough because she's not of Varney's blood. She's only of Blade's, and so it doesn't do too much. Should have happened kind of earlier. Well, Miles Morales is of Varney's blood now, so he gets his hand on the sword and stabs him as well, which breaks his concentration and hold over Blade. And as soon as that happened, Dr. Doom initiates his plan to get the sun out. And once that happened, Wanda is able to pull Blade out and imprison Varney in like this prism she's got. And when Blade finally falls, Brielle's like, oh my god, Dad, I'm so sorry. He's like, why are you apologizing? You did exactly what I taught you to do. You did everything right. Like, do not apologize. They're trying to keep Blade from dying, and Iron Man's like, you know, I've got a crash cart in this suit. It's gonna take just a second. It's gonna be pretty nasty scar though. And Blade's just like, you know, what's one more? Who cares? They had to stab him in his chest, so they have to save his life rather quickly. And everybody's fine. The sun is receding, or not the sun, but the darkness is receding, and Vision and Moon Knight are fine. Iron Man is able to stabilize and save Blade. And everybody sees it, and then they get this like really nice shot talking about, we won, all of us, they look good. And Miles is just like, hey, like, the sun, yay. And he's like, oh shit, like, I'm still a vampire. And he's like, actually, we're not. And Dracula, who is also standing in the sun, is just like, this is good news for you and I and our people. And he's just like, our people. He's like, whether or not you like it, you are filled with Varnay's blood as well. It doesn't just go away. So you do have Varnay's blood running through you too. And he's just like, what aren't you telling me? And he's like, well, when you save the world owes you a debt. That's very suspicious language, Dracula. What the fuck are you talking about? And then I haven't done like the the tie-ins really as kind of a thing, but at the end of the Midnight Suns tie-in, the very last one, Tulip goes to find Blade, and Blade is like at a retreat of sorts, healing. And we now have entered but prior to all that, everybody's like chilling, talking and whatnot. They're so happy that they have been saved and that they've saved the world and everything. And what do they hear other than a voice coming over Iron Man's radio hologram? And Captain Marvel makes it to say, I don't know if this is Steven's doing, but the darkness is receding. Back over there, Steven's just like, that was really impressive magic, Victor. I'm very impressed. He's like, thank you. Appreciate it. And he's like, okay, give me back my my sorcerer supreme power now. And he's like, you're a ghost. Goodbye. Sends him away. I don't know where Clea went. I think Clea went away as well. And he decides to just make this gigantic live announcement that he is now the supreme sorcerer supreme, Victor Von Doom. Why you give it to him? Why? So what did I think? I have not been this attached to a story in a really, really long time, especially something this big, in a really, really long time. The tie-ins and everything. And I am going to do like a full recap of literally everything, kind of just like rate the tie-ins and things like that. But I have never bought physical copies of an event like this. I am buying all of the physical copies because this story was really so much fun and it was so good. Some of the tie-ins were just things that happened simultaneously, and then some of the tie-ins were tying in, like Black Panther and Blood Hunt and things like that, Blood Hunters and things like that. So I thoroughly enjoyed this story. I really don't see where they could have done anything any different. The ending, introducing Dr. Doom as the new Sorcerer Supreme, chef's kiss. On top of everything they literally just went through, they have to deal with this as well. And Dracula being under suspicion now, because, and I think he was always under suspicion, at least on my end, just with how shady he was being in certain things and how willing he was to help. And while he does have a vampire nation to rule over, he was acting like it was something beyond that. And now that he is able to be out in the sun, I do not think he has been able to be out in the sun before. I haven't seen in the comic books I've seen him in, I haven't seen him out in the sun, but now he is out in the sun. Very strange, very odd. And the conversation he was having with Miles Morales, very strange, very odd. So I love having like those questions at the end of it leading into a different story. And yes, this does change the status quo of everything that's happened so far, because T'Challa also has Varnay's blood. Like running through his veins. And just there's a lot of things going on. Wolverine got turned into a vampire again when he found out that Blade was the cause of all this. He was headed that way, and I don't really think that story just stops. There's a new Blade story that's coming in October, so I'm ready for all of these new things. This was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. Definitely a 10 out of 10 on this whole story. And that is it for me. Again, I am going to do just kind of like a full thing, kind of just to include all of the Blood Hunt stories that happen with the tie-ins, like the one-shots and everything like that, and just kind of give like a rating for all of those, whether or not I think that you should read them, etc. But that is it for me today here at the doctor's office, where you get your proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters, because I completely and totally forgot to say that at the beginning. So I will see you guys at your next appointment.